Hello, I'm John Brunn, as many of you know, but for those of you who don't, now you have a face with the name. But I am here in my fiance's K1 room. A little change of pace, natural lighting, since my room does not have natural lighting, which is unfortunate, and I feel like it puts a damper on me and my students occasionally, so try to take advantage of this natural light. Anyways, I'm here to present my lesson learned. Um, my lesson learned really is that every day is a learning opportunity, and the context which you think about those learning opportunities, that's kind of more what I'm going to speak to today. Since I am a science teacher and I do have a science background, my undergraduate degree is in environmental science and environmental management and policy. So I do have a extensive background in wildlife management. So when I think about students learning on a daily basis, a lot of the times I think of it in a wildlife management context. So one of the prime examples for wildlife management, as far as all management in general, they use a lot of models based on maybe an African safari that's being managed by some sort of organization. Um, so we'll use that example for this little lesson learned. So when I think about my students, I'm thinking that my classroom is this managed game safari in Africa, and that each of my students represents a specific animal that is on this game safari or this game management area in Africa. Not that I'm necessarily comparing my students to animals, it's more figurative. But as you guys know, especially 6th through 12th graders, they can literally be animals at times. But we are not going to go into that right now. Anyways, I imagine my students as these animals. Most of the time, these animals are being managed for a reason because they're either endangered or threatened. They're trying to be protected for some reason, whether it's from themselves or from humans or from other animals. So, for example, maybe on this game safari or this game management area, we have the elaborate megafauna. So we have elephants, we have rhinos, giraffes, hippopotamus, and some lions. And then we have some little ones that people don't really pay attention to, the non-megafaunas, which we'll go into a little bit later. But anyways, these animals have to be taken care of with great care. So when people or game managers are managing these animals, or when teachers are managing your students, you take notes on a daily basis. You keep track of everything that your students are doing to see how you can change things to better enhance this animal's chance of survival, this student's chance of succeeding in the classroom, succeeding in life, since succeeding in the classroom definitely aids in succeeding in life. But anyways, the game manager or the teacher, analogy here, you're constantly monitoring your students, and you're constantly monitoring things that you can change throughout the day, throughout the school year, and every day is an opportunity to keep a checklist, to tell what's going on with your students, to see what's going on with this game management area, see what your environment is doing to your students. There's lots of things that you can alter within your environments or in the game management areas environments that can better increase your ability to survive, or the student's ability to survive or thrive in their classroom. So that's something that teachers can do on a daily basis and that game managers can do to make sure that their animals are surviving. Um, for example, in a classroom, maybe we have a keystone species. So maybe there's that one student in your classroom that's really like the glue for your classroom. So we can compare them to the keystone species. So maybe a beaver. A beaver is a good example of a keystone species because they build a dam, they create a pond, and that pond can now support all sorts of different life. Maybe has some fish in it, some frogs, and then it attracts more birds to that area, more aquatic insects. So a beaver is a keystone species. And maybe you have that student that is, like I said, the glue for the classroom, that really is a leader in the classroom and asks stimulating questions that gets other students thinking about things that we're talking about in class, or somebody that really refocuses the class when things get out of hand. So that could be an example of a keystone species. Um, you can compare lots of different things to a management situation. Maybe you have some antisocial nocturnal animals. I mean, I'll know that we do have some students that can be antisocial, which can be hard to deal with, and we do have students that seem to be nocturnal just because they stay up all hours of the night and come to classroom sleepy. But anyways, so really my way of thinking about learning on a daily basis, learning things about my students on a daily basis has been in the context of wildlife management. So I'm comparing my students to animals in a game management situation, such as an African safari. And it helps me better understand ways to understand my students. So this has been my lesson learned. I hope I didn't confuse anybody with all my science lingo and being nerdy, but I hope you enjoyed. Hope everybody has had good years. Thanks.